For Basara, training came in a lot of different shapes and forms. From jogging a mile, punching a heavy bag, climbing stuff, putting your body to the test, training yourself physically and mentally. But training under a succubus, that was definitely new. Along with training using any rogue game. But that's how Basara was spending his Friday night. Sitting at his computer with Maria, with nothing but a bath towel covering herself, sitting on his lap, guiding him through the ever-extensive realities of trying to get someone in a video game to fall in love with you. Yes, this was a form of training. As Basara had connected to Mio via the Master-Servant Pact, this was the way to deepen their bond, to get stronger, as Maria would put it. If you're going to build your bond with Mio, you have to learn how to build trust, build connections. Sure, she might be tough and hard on the outside, but on the inside, she's soft and feminine. You have to be able to use your charm, Basara. And right now, I am lacking a lot of charm in you. Well, what can I say? This isn't really something that I'm used to. I mean, none of these answers make any sense. I mean, no matter what I try, I end up getting rejected. Of course, because you keep acting all soft and a bit of a wimp. Come on, get a little firm. Pick option C. Option C? No, there's no way option C is gonna work. Holy crap, option C actually worked, Basara said. Well, I stand corrected. But how did we even get here? All I did was give her a smack on the behind. How did it leave her begging like a dog? That's the secret, Basara. Sometimes you just gotta be a little rough. You gotta be a little firm. Come on, take charge. Slap a butt, grab a tit, do something. Maria would cower in fear as she felt something grasp her head. It was Mio. She had been knocking on the door, trying to get their attention, and figuring out what Maria was up to, she felt like the succubus deserved a little bit of punishment. You want him to do what to me, Maria? Come on now, Mio. What I'm doing is trying to help all of you out. Please, you can't be mad at me. Wait, no, Basara, please, stop her. You have the power to end this. Excuse me, Basara. Me and Maria need to have a conversation about boundaries. No! Jeez, she truly is something else. The next day at breakfast, things were rather quiet. That was until Mio piped up to ask something. Basara? Why does your power hurt you? Huh? It's just something that I noticed. Your powers, they seem to hurt you. I'm sorry, I probably shouldn't have said anything. No. It's fine, really. It's just not something I thought you'd want to ask. I was curious about it too, Maria would say. It doesn't seem like they work in unison. Well, that's a good observation. Because the truth is, they don't. Both girls listened intently as Basara would explain. As you already know, my grandfather, Jay Garrick, married my grandmother, Joanne Toujo, and he became Jay Garrick Toujo. Through his blood, I gained access to a power known as the Speed Force. And it's through my grandmother that I gained my hero's blood and the ability to use magic. Then, of course, they had my father, Gene Toujo. And then I came along. So what does that have to do with your power? Mio would ask. Well, there was an incident in my village. If you'll forgive me, I would rather not go into details about it. To avert catastrophe, I had to take hold of a sword. It's known as a Brunhild. It's a demon blade, cursed, with the power to access a dimension known as the Zero Dimension. The Zero Dimension? Yes, a place of no motion, a place where all things cease to exist on a physical and spiritual level. You could say that it's a sword that when used, it can cut and send something, anything, to the place of nothing, a place of absolute zero. On the opposite side, you have the Speed Force, a power through which time and space move forward, the power of motion. I see, Maria would say. So the power of Brunhild, this cursed blade, it's the power of zero, of nothing, zero motion. But the Speed Force is nothing but motion. It's like yin and yang. Exactly. Two powerful forces on both the opposite sides of the ultimate spectrum. A dimension of pure speed and a dimension of zero motion. So that means, that's right. When you have two opposing forces trapped in one place, you can imagine that that place becomes pretty chaotic. And that place is your body. Exactly. My body is the hosting ground for these two forces of nature. They pretty much cancel each other out because they're living contradictions. A dimension of pure speed, a dimension where nothing moves. You can understand why trying to use them both is nearly impossible. Have you ever tried to activate both powers at once? I did. It was during my training, about 5 years ago after I left the village. I tried to access both powers at once with my father, but the results were terrifying. Do you know what it feels like to be ripped apart from the inside out? To feel yourself slowly being torn in two, as if every single cell in your body is being eviscerated, as if your very essence, your being, your soul, your physical and your spiritual nature are being eradicated from the fabric of time. That's what it felt like. It was a horrible feeling. It was the feeling of death and feeling death. Since then, I've never tried to do it again. But you're so powerful. How could you possibly be losing power? Maria would ask. It's simple. I can never use either power to its fullest extent. The other side simply won't allow it. That's why you could say that my speed force has been corrupted. I'll never be able to achieve the level of speed my father has, or even my grandfather. It's the gift and the curse. So what about your technique? The tenfold style? The tenfold style slash, or the tenfold slash to be specific. It's actually a combination of the two powers, but not in unison. How it works. First, I channel the speed force into my body. I use it to increase my speed to get close to my target. Afterwards, I cut it off completely. Then that's when I turn on the power of Brunhild, the power of zero dimension. There I'm able to use the power of the sword at close range. I get it, Mio said. So you use your speed to move around the battlefield. Then you turn off your speed and you use the magic. I never use both powers at once, but I move fast enough to give off the illusion that I'm using both at once. I guess the best way to describe it, Basara would say, it's like having hot and cold water, but instead of turning both of the knobs and having both of them go at once, I turn on the hot water, I immediately shut it off, turn on the cold water, immediately shut it off, then I use the hot water again, and I repeat the process. But that has to put a strain on your body, Maria would say. Using two different forces like that? And it's not just as simple as turning a knob for hot and cold water. Even then, when you turn on the knob for hot water, the water has to be heated up first. Cold water can usually remain cold, but even that has to pick up some time before it can get even colder. But for you have to be able to switch it on and off on a dime at a moment's notice. And you have to be careful not to let the time overlap between the both of them. Because if you do, then you end up hurting yourself. For as powerful as both of these forces are, it creates a lot of weak points. Exactly. If an enemy was able to pick up on that, I'd be screwed. But how long could that time be? The time that lags between using both powers. As it currently stands, my lag time is about 5 seconds. 5 seconds? That's incredible. Actually, no. For 5 seconds, between using my speed power and the power of my magic, in those 5 seconds, I'm at my absolute weakest. If anyone was able to figure that out, it would be the end of me. I try to blend the powers together to give off the illusion that there is no such lag time. But once it's figured out, then it's figured out. It used to be a lot longer. Probably about 20 seconds when I was younger. But you've gotten it down to 5. That's pretty impressive. But in those 5 seconds, anything can happen. The two girls looked on solemnly. Basara had achieved an amazing feat of power, but for him, he still felt like he was lacking in that regard. At school, Yuki was also acting a bit strange, and it wasn't just from her stopping by the house whenever she wanted, but she had been avoiding Basara for a while now. That was until today, when she would ask if he was doing anything the following weekend. He didn't have any plans, and she offered to go out on a date. But there was a look in her eyes Basara hadn't noticed. But there was something else weighing on her mind deeply. The following Saturday would come, and so too was the day of the date. Basara would arrive to the mall, and both he and Yuki would go shopping. In the midst of their journey together, they would end up running into Maria and Mio. It was supposed to be by coincidence, but Basara knew it was anything but. Surprisingly, the girls all got along together, and the day was going surprisingly well. That was until Yuki suddenly disappeared. They had no idea where she had gone, and they went outside to search for her. But what they got instead was another attack. A demon general known as Volga had arrived. The muscle-bound demon, whose skin was merely impenetrable, able to withstand the slashes of Basara's blade. They thought that he was responsible for the potential abduction or injury of Yuki. It forced Basara to get serious, and he managed to land a severe blow against Volga, although the demon managed to shrug it off. So, this is what you can do when you actually get serious. I think I'm starting to like you. Although, my attention is for her. You have inherited the power of Wilbert, the Demon Lord. A power that wastes away in the world of mere mortals. You should come back to your homeland, where your power can be used to its fullest. No, I don't want to go with you, Mio would say. I want to know what happened to Yuki. If you were responsible, if you did anything to her, Basara said. But before he could finish, a gust of wind, a powerful vortex, would burrow right through Volga, severing off the left portion of his body. What the hell was that? No way. That level of control over wind, that vortex. Is it? You're always getting into trouble. Hey, Basara. Basara turned to see a face, another familiar friend from the past. It was Roscoe. Roscoe would immediately descend in front of Volga, who raised his other arm preparing to strike him. But before he could, his body was frozen over in ice. And now for the coup de grace. A powerful vortex would be shot directly point blank at the frozen Volga, destroying him and causing him to disintegrate. I've always got to clean up after you, don't I? Takashi? Basara said. In the end, we were able to avoid any major casualties, so it's all in a day's work. Shiba! Don't go throwing those names around so casually. Kurumi? What's going on? Why are you four here? Where's Yuki? He finally saw her. Yuki was standing next to Kurumi, her younger sister. Yuki, what? That's enough, Kurumi said. You have some nerve, Basara, talking to us as if we're good friends. After everything you've done, everything you've put my sister through. Do you have any shame at all? None from the looks of it, Takashi said. Come on, guys, we didn't come here to bring up old wounds, Roscoe said, as he eyed at Shiba, who merely smiled. As you know, we were here under the orders of elimination for our target, Mio Narise. Elimination? But she was only under surveillance, Basara said. Well, her elimination has now been approved by the elders. The elders. Shiba would destroy the barrier that Volga had placed around them. Under normal circumstances, we would be tasked with eliminating all of you, but doing so here could spell more trouble than it's worth. I don't suppose that you'll just hand her over. Not a chance in hell. I see. Well, I guess we don't have much choice. It looks like we're going to have to settle this with a good old-fashioned duel. A duel? I think in 1 week's time that should suffice. Give us a chance to prepare. We'll find a venue more appropriate, and we'll set up a dimensional barrier. That way no one has to get hurt, and we can conduct our business. But what the hell are you doing here, Shiba? The only place that you should be is behind a prison cell. Huh. That's the pot calling the kettle black now, isn't it? Shiba would reply. Then again, we're all guilty of something. See you around, Basara. Who are they? They're members of the hero clan, Maria said. And now they're after you, Mio. It's all right. I won't let them harm you. Any of you. We have time. We'll have to find a way to beat them. But still, to see Kurumi, Roscoe, Takashi, his friends after so long, he never thought it would be under this circumstance. For that week, Mio, Maria, and Basara would train in preparation for the battle. Basara had the most knowledge on all of his former comrades, so he was the best one suited to teach the girls what to expect. He even called his father to keep him informed on what was happening. Jin would encourage Basara to go all out. After all, they were already excommunicated from the village in everything but name only. There was no reason to have any false pretense or hope that things were going to change. But Dad, are you sure? Absolutely. The village were the ones that discarded us first. Quite frankly, I don't give a damn what any of those jackasses think. No matter what happens, I'll back you up. So don't hold back. Crush them with everything you've got. Right. The night before, as Basara sat on his couch, mulling over strategy and anything else that they could have done, Maria would enter into the room. As a succubus, they gained power in many ways. Not just through training, of course, but they could feed off of the lust of a situation, feeding off of the feelings of arousal and pleasure and desire. And she knew how to bring that out. Of course, this also meant that things got particularly hot. While the intentions were pure, yes, the situation still, it took a turn, a sticky turn, a turn that became known as the maple syrup incident. A knock on the door, however, and the opening of it would only bring this situation from ecstasy and climax to a state of embarrassment. Hello? Hey, yo, Basara. Is anybody here? I just came to see the Roscoe? Basara would say. Oh my, this is quite an embarrassing situation, Maria would say, the succubus enjoying every bit of this moment. Mio, completely flustered. I'll kill you 100 times! Wait, no, Mio, calm down. See, I don't see you for 5 years and this is what you're up to, Basara? I thought that I was gonna come by, help you out, brought some sushi. But now I see you on some freaky shit. With maple syrup? What the hell? Just go outside! Basara would push Roscoe out, as he had to get cleaned up. 10 minutes later, both boys were sitting on the porch, looking up at the full moon. So, Roscoe said, you want to tell me about the maple syrup? No. It was the succubus, wasn't it? What do you think? Man, Basara, you have the worst luck around. How did you ever get roped up with the likes of them? It's a long story. After getting his laugh in, the two would fall silent for a moment. Of course, they hadn't seen each other in a long time, and so much had changed for them both. Until finally, Basara would have to ask, I thought you were with Shiba and his team. Why are you here? Well, like I said, it's not very often you get to get out of the village and have good sushi. Also, I came because you should know very well that I'm not going to fight my best friend. So you're just going to turn on him like that? Like that? You already know how I feel about Shiba. There's no way in hell I was going to work under him. But what about Yuki? And Takashi? You know how things were after the incident. The elders started spinning a tale about what happened. Even though you weren't responsible, they put all the blame on you. It was easier to make you the scapegoat. And you have to admit, for the families that lost their loved ones, their children, and didn't even have a way of giving them a proper burial, they had to take their anger out somewhere. Everyone had to deal with it as best they could. Yuki was always defending you, and it cost her a lot. It hasn't been too long since people have actually welcomed her back into the old circle of things. She took this assignment mission mainly to just get away from it all. But what I'm trying to figure out is why exactly are you guarding the former Demon Lord's daughter? How the hell did you and Jin get wrapped up in all of this? Basara would explain the truth about the death of Lord Wilbert and everything else that followed. Damn, you can't be serious. So he just got betrayed? Yeah, and now everyone's after Mio. I can't just leave her to fend for herself. I have to do something. Yeah, I get you. But still, you know what you're getting yourself into. I mean, I'm kind of surprised they haven't branded you two as heretics already. If they did that, you'd have everybody on your ass. Yeah, I kind of figured it'd happen sooner or later. I like to imagine the people in high places are buying me some time. Well, you definitely know people in high places. But it's not going to last for too long. Once the elders make a decree, it's almost always final. And there's no way you're going to get them to change their mind. Sooner or later, they're going to send in everything they've got to take you out. And they're not going to care. I know. That's why I have to get stronger. Strong enough to protect everyone. And strong enough to send a warning. They don't take me as seriously as my father. And I'm going to make them regret it. Man, if you turn out anything like your father, I don't want you for an enemy. The two would be joined by Mio and Maria, the two girls apologizing for the incident in question, but Roscoe was kind enough to play it off like he didn't really see anything. Mio, Maria, this is my friend from the Hero Clan. Roscoe Hines. Although when we were younger, we used to call him Turbine. Turbine? Why that? Oh, well, you see, Mr. Hero Popular over here decided that he was going to become the Flash. So, I had to use my power to keep up. And I like to think I move as fast as a jet turbine. So that's what I call myself. So, you're Turbine, Maria would say. Your power must relate to the wind. It does. My family, we were blessed by wind spirits. And we have a strong affinity for the winds. I'm able to summon it all around me, and using it to propel me forward. Yeah, when we were younger, he was one of the few people in the village who could actually keep up with me in a race, though I always came out on top. Hey, I got the best of you on a few occasions. True. Sometimes we'd even race all the way to Hokkaido and back. I think I could still make that journey in about 15 seconds. 15? You really have gotten soft. And what's that supposed to mean? I can make Hokkaido and back in 9 seconds. Oh, really? Yeah, you want to try it out? The two would smile for a bit before chuckling to themselves. Thankfully for Maria and for Mio, it put them at ease knowing that they had more allies, although they were still a little disheartened that Yuki wouldn't be joining them. The next day, at school, the day of the duel, Yahiro would meet with Basara on the roof. So, I'm looking into what happened with General Volga. Safe to say, my boss is not gonna be too thrilled about the Hero Clan getting involved. Yeah, sorry about that. There's also something else. This duel that you're going to have, I figure I should give you fair warning. My job is to look after Mio and not to allow any harm to come to her. If it comes down to it and it looks like she's about to die, I'm gonna have to step in. What does that mean? Well, there's no point in beating around the bush. You're friends with Yuki, right? If she goes in for the kill, I'll have to take her out. Come on now, don't look at me like that. You know that this deal is only going to work if we're both benefiting. I always told you at some point we might have to be enemies. I understand that, but listen to me. If you even try to lay a finger on Yuki, I will stop you. Yeah, I know. That's why you need to make sure that you win, so that it doesn't have to come down to that. Over the city, as the sun was beginning to set, Basara, Mio, and Maria would be standing on a bridge. They knew for the area that the duel was going to begin, and once the barrier was put up, it would finally commence. Shortly after, the heroes would arrive, with Shiba leading them. Well, Basara, you definitely are the son of Jean Toujo and the grandson of J. Garrick Toujo, living up to the moniker of the Flash, always arriving on the time. I can appreciate punctuality. Immediately, Roscoe would walk away from their group, standing next to Basara, Mio, and Maria. Shiba just smiled. I can't say this was unexpected. Still, I didn't think that you would betray us so openly, Roscoe. I expected a lot more from a hero. You're the last one who gets to lecture about what a hero is. You should be behind bars, Shiba. My. Still holding a grudge after all this time? You're damn right I am. How could you? Kurumi said. Basara, look at what you're doing. You're tearing everyone apart, all because you're continuing to defend that demon. That's enough, Kurumi. Mio is not a demon. She's just Mio. She's done nothing wrong, nothing warranting death. I don't want to fight you all. Yeah? Well, the feeling's not mutual, Takashi said. Just because you ran away from the village, it doesn't mean you get to escape what you've done. I didn't run away, and you know it. You all know the truth. The truth is always subjective. In the end, we have our orders, Shiba would say. Now, I can only ask you this one more time. Will you hand over the prisoner? If you do, we'll allow all of you to walk away. Even you, Roscoe. Even if the girl hasn't done anything wrong, her very existence threatens our reality. Her power cannot fall into the enemy hands. We have to take these precautions. You were a hero once. You know this. The true essence of a hero is doing what's right. And that's what I'm choosing to do. So I'll tell you one time. You turn around, you get the hell out of my city, and I never want to see your face again. I won't hesitate to stop you. Is that a threat? You have the nerve to point that sword at us, Takashi said. Please, don't make me do this. Enough talk, Takashi said. What's the time? Shiba looked at his watch. Only 10 more minutes. And then our duel would begin. It's a shame you picked the wrong side, Basara. We will eliminate Mio Naruse by any means necessary. And we'll gladly go through you to do it. Try me. Basara's body began to crackle with lightning as it began to shroud itself around him as he raised his sword. And the battle for Mio's freedom was set to begin. This concludes Testament of the Sister New Devil Speed Burst. What if Basara Toujo was the Flash? Season 1, Part 3. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned tomorrow as we continue with Testament of the Sister New Devil Speed Burst. What if Basara Toujo was the Flash? Season 1, Part 4. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings, signing off, and I'll see you next time.